Hello and welcome to step 2 in my How to Plan Your Trip series, Visa and Travel Documents. If you've missed step 1 where we talked about choosing your destination and setting a budget, I've linked it right here and in the description. Watch that first so you're planning in the right order. Now, you've decided where you're going and you've set your budget. Amazing! But before you get too excited and start booking flights and hotels, let's talk about that one thing that can make or break your trip. Visas and travel documents. I know, this isn't the fun part. It's not as exciting as picking a destination and scrolling through Instagram for hotel inspo. But trust me, this step decides whether your trip is happening or not. So why is this step so important? Well, your visa is basically your permission slip to enter another country. Without it, you're not going anywhere. And these things don't happen overnight. Some countries give you a visa in about 15 days. Some 45 days, and some, like US, can take up to a year to get an appointment. That's why planning early is non-negotiable. I've seen trips get ruined because people waited too long. Just last month, my parents were planning to visit us in Germany. They kept saying, "We'll do the visa application next week." Next, thinking they'd get an appointment quickly. But by the time they actually sat down to apply, there were no slots for the next 3 months. And just like that, tickets, hotel plans, mood, sab gaya. So please, if there's one thing you take away from this video, it's this. Apply as early as possible. A good rule of thumb is to start your visa process 3 to 6 months before your trip. Most embassies allow this. If you're applying for high demand visas like the US, UK, Canada or Schengen visa during peak summer, do it even earlier. Always check the official website for the earliest date you can apply. Before you even fill out the form, you need to know what type of visa do you need. There's the single entry visa where you can enter the country only once. Once you leave, you need a fresh visa to go back. Then there's multiple entry visa which lets you enter and exit as many times as you want during its validity. Perfect if you're doing a multi-country trip. Some countries offer a visa on arrival. You land, stand in a queue and get your visa at the airport. It sounds convenient, but it can mean long waits and you might still need to show hotel bookings or proof of funds. Always check if your nationality is eligible. Then there's my personal favorite, the e-visa. Everything is done online. You fill out the form, upload your documents, make the payment and the visa arrives on your email. For example, when I visited Egypt, I did the entire e-visa process myself on the official government website. It was simple, took me maybe 15 to 20 minutes and I had my visa in just 2 days. If you're planning your trip to Egypt, I've linked my full itinerary below. You can check it out after this video. Once you know your visa type, figure out which embassy you should apply to. For example, in Europe, if you're visiting multiple Schengen countries, you apply to the embassy of the country you'll be spending the most nights. If your stay is equally split, apply to the embassy of your first entry country. This might seem like a small detail, but applying to the wrong embassy can lead to delays or even rejection. Now, should you apply on your own or use an agent? If your case is straightforward and you have the time to fill out the forms and gather documents, doing it yourself is cheaper and you are in full control. But if it's your first time or you have a complex itinerary or you just don't want the stress, an agent can save you a lot of time. Just make sure they are trustworthy. Ask for recommendations and check reviews before you hand over your passport. My trusted agent is iVisa. They handle the visa process for me and make it as stress-free as possible. I've linked their website in the description below. As for the documents, here's what you'll almost always need. A passport valid for at least 6 months with few blank pages, travel insurance that meet the embassy's requirements, proof of finances like bank statements or salary slips, a cover letter explaining your trip, and your flight and hotel bookings with a rough itinerary. Some countries might ask for extras like an employer letter, property ownership proof, or marriage certificates if you're traveling as a couple. That's why it's so important to download the checklist from the official embassy website and follow it line by line. Now let me give you a few pro tips that can make the whole process smoother. First, create a visa timeline for yourself. Note down when you can apply, when your appointment is, and when you expect to get the result. Second, scan every single document and keep backups, both physical and digital. I make a separate folder in my phone and in the cloud for each trip. Third, book refundable hotels and flights until your visa is approved. That way, if something changes, you are not losing money. Fourth, double check your passport photos. I once had my UAE visa application delayed because my photo didn't match their size requirements and it took extra time to fix it. These small details matter more than you think. And here's one more tip. Check when your visa validity starts. Some start from the day they issue it, others from the day you enter. This can impact your trip dates, especially if you're booking far in advance. If for some reason your visa gets delayed or denied, it's always good to have a backup plan. I keep a list of destinations that are visa free or visa on arrival for my nationality. That way, my travel plans aren't completely ruined if things don't go as expected. I know this step can feel tedious, but once your visa is approved, it's such a relief. You can start booking with confidence, finalizing your itinerary, and actually getting excited about your trip. So that's step 2, sorting your visa and documents early and doing it right. In step 3, we are going to move on to something way more fun, planning your itinerary. So make sure you subscribe and turn on the notifications so you don't miss it. See you in the next one.